Alright, I think I'm recording.
Someone streaming?
I think so. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, and you see this WoW TBC Tempest Keep
I
PK
lost
great
tier
guy?
5, dude. Yep.
Yeah, so you can watch it with the volume muted.
You're really quiet, Cal. Is anybody else hearing quiet?
He's,
No.
he's about normal.
A normal. I can swallow him.
Normal
I
for
turned
me.
you up. I turned you up.
Okay, so Alar, 4 tanks. There will be 3 tanks up top. There's 6 total platforms up top, so each tank takes 2 platforms. There'll be 1 pally tank down below. Basically, Alar will start at one of the platforms, as you see there. Periodically, he will go to a different platform. When he does that, then he spawns a couple of little birds down below. So that's what the pally tank down below will pick up. He'll go over to a different platform there, and just whichever tank's platform that is goes and picks him up. Paladin tank down below picks up the birds. When the birds die, they explode, so you just tank them away from the raid. When he'll also periodically go like up into the middle of the room and do I don't know, whatever that thing's called, flame quills. When he does that, all the tanks who are on the platforms have to jump down, otherwise they'll just get murked. And as soon as he's done the flame quills, those tanks run back up. That's the entirety of phase 1. Once you basically take his life to 0, he kind of reincarnates himself, and phase 2 starts.
Yeah.
In phase 2, he's similar to Ebon Rock and BWL, except that instead of healing himself, he puts like a melt armor debuff on the tank. So the tanks will just ping pong taunting. Every time they get a melt armor, the next tank taunts, etc. all the way around. Nothing big to handle. You can probably fast forward a little to show the phase 2 stuff.
Where do the healers stand?
The whole group down below kind of runs around.
Okay, so the tank has to be visible from bottom.
Yeah, I assume pause it there, but I assume we'll have a healer dedicated to each tank up top. So I don't know if the healer, Tar, when you did it, did the healer stand with the tank or did the healer stand down below?
We stayed on the bottom of the outer ring. So you see, I was like kind of glassed in the middle, and you see like the light light pink, whatever. So we stayed on the outer of that, and we just basically moved with them. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, the tank just has to be sure to not send LS of
There's no
healers when they're on the upper platforms.
melee doesn't need any heals whatsoever. They're not taking any damage from him.
The only thing I could see is make sure you have either something with the healers, having spread out enough, so once it goes to the other side, they can get to it, the person quickly.
Yeah, that's I'm thinking we might just have.
How quickly does it move?
It moves pretty
How quickly does it
fast,
move from
but the way that the tank should be positioned on the edge, you should be in range. It might look really spaced out, but honestly, from platform like 1 to 2, you can move a little bit and you're able to heal again.
Okay, I just didn't know if you needed somebody that had quick movements.
No. Yeah, you would think from the distance it looks, but it was pretty easy. I think I ran like just 2 steps and I was in range.
Good to know.
So phase 2, the main ability, if you kind of play it here, is Meteor. It's kind of similar to the AQ40 meteors in that when he's going to cast it, everybody has to group up like that. The meteor hits, and then it leaves a patch on the ground, so everybody has to move out of the patch. And then when it hits, it spawns some more birds, which are the same as before. They blow up when they die. So the paladin tank just picks them up and DPS them down, DPS Alar down. And that's about it.
And then Alistair gets his mount.
That's not till
This
the
guy
last.
drop
the
the
mount's
mount.
not Kael'thas.
So
Yes,
it's
But that's
So sure, you
that's
can get your
essentially
mount
the
off this guy.
Yeah. Reserved for Alistair.
Thank you.
After he sucks
Can I
my
get
dick.
Void
that?
Reaver.
Reaver.
Mm-hmm.
Is essentially a tank and spank, one tank. All the ranged groups will just, there'll be however many ranged groups we have, like 3 or 4. They'll just be spread out. And there'll be a melee group. Throughout the fight, the Void Reaver will throw an arcane orb at a random range target. You can see them going out there. When he throws it, it's very slow, and you just have to move out of the way of it because when it hits the ground, it does damage.
Kaboom!
So range just gets up. Yeah.
So when we did it last night, sorry Kyle, everybody stacked up, and the 3 hunters were the ones on the outer ring
Yeah, because it doesn't go for the person that most.
because you can just cheetah
Okay.
move back to DPS, cheetah move back to DPS.
All right,
you
that's
want
probably a better way to
You
deal
want
with it.
3 tanks in the top 3 of aggro with them.
So that probably works if we want to do it something like that. The other ability that he does that he's doing right now is a ground pound earthquake ability. From everything I've seen, you can just heal through it. It's not a big deal. So
Yeah,
the
it
melee
was
are going to
nothing.
get hit by it. You just heal it.
If
But it's-
melee want to not get hit by it and not die, they can just leave. Like, they can just get out of range of it, right?
Yeah,
Kind of,
everything
but
I've
then you
seen
be
basically
careful
says
because
just
then the
DPS
orbs will
forever.
then target that person.
So I think it'll either be ranged groups either out, or as you say, we'll have like 3 hunters or whatever out, and the melee and everyone else in, and then just kill them. This is by far everybody says this is the easiest fight of
It was the easiest,
this
yeah.
tier.
Loot Reaver.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing much. Don't stand in orbs. That's about the only mechanic on the fight.
No phases or anything like
No.
that to it.
Nope.
Right? It just is how it is. Yep.
Kill him till he's dead. Keep going next one.
Should be.
It is.
Yeah.
This
He's
exclamation.
just explaining these abilities. This one is interesting.
We wiped a few times, but then we got her down.
Is it playing? I don't see anything playing.
He's explaining the abilities.
Oh, sorry, you're on Solarian. Okay. So for Solarian, there's going to be, when we set up, there will basically be 4 groups. You'll see the 3 range groups there, and then the 1 melee group. You also see how they have the smoke flares down. There's a white, a green, and a purple. In this fight, the major thing that we have to deal with through the entirety of Phase 1 is a debuff that he puts on you, which is kind of on the screen there. Basically, when you get the debuff put on you, you have to leave your ranged group and go into kind of a middle area. And then you don't leave that middle area until your debuff is gone away, and then you go back to your ranged group. And for the entirety of Phase 1, even with all the other ads and all the other crap going on, that has to be maintained. So if you play it through a little bit.
That's because if you are in a group, you're in range of people that do not have the debuff, then it like bounces and stacks, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay. Like, we basically have everybody stack up in the middle that already has the debuff, and they don't give it to each other.
Yep.
And then they, don't give it to the groups that they're in.
Yeah. So play through a little to where they're actually like fighting. And it'll show kind of the guy who's doing it gets the debuff, so you'll see him run in. All right, so pause it there. So if you look at his debuffs, right next to his map, he's got the little, I don't know what the hell that is, the little
Looks
diagonal
like
line debuff.
Swooshy. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that he's got that, play it through and he'll move in. Eventually. There he goes. So he moves into the middle along with the other people who have the debuffs, and he'll stay here until his debuff goes away.
Are we doing a Warlock tank?
On this one, no. This is just a tank spank. So that happens. Now periodically, so pause it there. So periodically she will disappear. When she disappears, a bunch of little ads will pop up. The idea is to bring them all together. So alley tanks are beautiful on this. Just bring them together and AoE them down. Again, you have to maintain spacing on the debuffs. It's still active in this time. So if you play it ahead, you'll see the little ads coming out. There's all the little ads. So they have consecrates and stuff down. Once they're together, then give them a sec and they'll just seed them all and blow them all up.
And they really didn't hit hard at all.
If
Yeah.
I remember right, they don't have
And
much
again, you
point
saw that his debuff fell off, so he moved out. Okay,
Curious
pause
why
there.
they stack.
So
I'm
when
curious why they stack the ads on top of the group with the debuff. There seems like then your pally tank is going to get the debuff. No.
yeah, that's probably a good point. I don't know. Maybe it's just because
Maybe
it's
he
in the middle of
already
it.
had it.
Yeah, pally tank may have already had it. That's true. If they don't, then you probably want to have the middle group move to a different position or something, so that the pally tank can get him in the middle still.
Yeah, that's probably true. When she pops back up, she brings 2 priests with her. You can see the skull is a priest, and then there's another priest bar in there. So basically, you just kill one of them, kill the next one of them, then go back onto her. Or him? I don't know. It's a guy or girl.
Priest heal, right?
Yeah, I
Yes,
imagine so. Yeah. And then, so this entire time, you still have to watch for your debuff. Make sure that you're not standing in the wrong spot. But you can play it through. You can go through until the next phase begins. So this is the entire fight. It's just the little ads when she disappears, and then when she reappears, the priests. And then when you get her to 20%,
Ooh, I remember this.
turns into a big void monster.
Mhm.
Oh, they're not there yet.
Way to spoil it.
Oh, there you go. Okay, pause.
Ah, that's
So
cool.
20%. Sorry, 20% turns into a big void monster. First priority is to kill the remaining ads, anything that's alive. After that, it's just simple tank and spank. I don't know if it's hitting for shadow damage right now or arcane or what, but just tank and spank at this
So
point.
this is the fight that we were saying we wanted people to have the 2 pieces prepared for, right?
Yes.
Valerian, the arcane resist.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I've read
so
varying things. That's either you need none or you need a little bit that helps. So we're kind of thinking we'll have the violet badge for everybody, and then the arcane resist cloak, and that should bring everybody to like 100 something buffed.
Yeah, that should be enough from what I've seen.
It
Somewhere
wasn't that
between 125 130.
no one had it in our group last night, and it was pretty much fine. But I don't think a little won't hurt.
Yeah, having a badge in one piece, I think it'll be perfect. Honestly.
do you want to do SSC?
Yeah, go to SSC. I think Kael'thas will be the last boss we attempt, and there's a whole shit ton of explanation.
That's a long explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you noticed, Kael'thas was at least a third, probably even more of the video, of the length of the
Oh
video.
yeah.
It's
I
actually
remember.
not that. There's kind of just like the ads themselves and stuff like it. It's just a lot of things, but there's not really that much that any individual has to worry about. I don't think.
There's a
Biggest
lot
thing
of,
is just
lot
the
of
transitions.
yeah.
Let's just take a second and recap. Actually, I think it would be a good idea. Let me go back here. So on Alar, we have tanks that are on the top upstairs. We have healers that are sort of skirting around the outsides. tanks are picking it up whenever it goes to the other location. People, we have a pally tank in the bottom that's picking up the adds. When we kill the adds, deals damage to the boss. Phase 2, we have boss comes down to the middle. We stack up for meteor, move away from meteor after the fact, kill adds, kill boss. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So Void Reaver, we're gonna have some number of people in range. Arcane orbs or bombs come down. Don't be in range of bomb. Melee gets hit. Heal through it.
Yep.
And then Solarian. So, I mean, like, not much else to that. Solarian, if you get the debuff, then you have to go to this group in the middle. We'll have groups split into 3, so that'll be just something. You'll be in group 1, 2, or 3, and then melee. And then if you get the debuff, you go to the middle. Wait for your debuff to fall off before you go back to your position. Kill the adds when they come down. Kill the priests when they spawn, and then kill the boss. When we get into phase 2, it basically turns into just a tank.
Yep,
and spank,
tank
right?
spank.
Anything else to add to that?
Quick question on that fight: is it possible for the tank to get the debuff, or is it just like a DPS?
DPS. I'm not too sure. We burned it pretty fast, but the tank never got it.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
I
the
don't think
main
that it's
threat cannot
possible.
get it.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on these? Okay. Let me pull up the other one here.
So I guess one thing to touch on too with this is, I mean, Void Reaver has 1 tank, Alar has 4. That's the biggest gap from any of the stuff I've seen here. So any tank needs to make sure you have your secondary set ready to go.
If I
Warriors
remember right,
DPS,
Yeah.
Paladin's probably healing, me DPS or healing depending.
if I remember right, the trash before Void Reaver has more mechanics and is harder than.
The actual
Yeah,
boss
so for
itself.
Void Reader, you would banish the
Yeah.
demons. You would sheet the humanoids, and then you would burn the colossals, and you would spread them apart.
I remember
Yeah.
Saw Blades just fucking people up.
Yeah, so that's the biggest thing is the demons are pretty much last, and they have to make sure you keep them banished, and then when they are out of banish, they're facing away, and then burn them when they're out.
Yeah, I didn't look through
Couple
any of
ouchies.
the trash stuff.
So like the first part of the room, or when we get into TK, there really isn't any room for the first pat of trash. So CCing is really important in the first kind of area, and then you would pull 3 of the mobs basically and tank them in each corner. The captain, I think it's the captain, does a whirlwind, so you gotta make sure you're out of that. There's a few things that heal, like spacing on the names right now, but there's a lot that was going on with the ads or the trash beforehand. And then there's a patrol that goes back and forth too, so that's why it's kind of important to pull that first group first before you pull the patrol.
Frontal ouchies, CC things.
Mhm.
Pretty much, yeah.
All sides ouchies.
And then even like the trash going to Solana was pretty easy. It's pretty much just AoE non-elites with a few elites mixed in, kind of like Kara going towards Maiden.
Okay.
Or Morass, actually, yeah.
Okay. Are you ready to move on, Cal?
Was born ready.
Or does anybody else have any other questions? This is our intended route is to do the route that we're talking about right now. So 3 and then go into SSC. What is happening?
All right. Well, I'm working on the loot sheet. It's very close to having the template done. I think they're both very close to being done, but I should have template for you guys very soon.
It's gonna be both
That's
in one.
another conversation that we will have as well. Not to derail this, but we'll do a walkthrough for the loot sheets for anybody who's never done it before. We'll set up a session, probably another session after 25-man raids to walk through that, so that everybody gets their loot sheets done, as best they can.
Is there a plan of action for Ashes of Valar, or is it just rolling?
Yes,
out?
we have a plan. It is not.
We have a plan.
It is
It's
not
a
been
beautiful
revealed.
plan.
It's very exciting.
It's the
Yeah.
best
Very
plan.
exciting.
We promise that you will like it.
Oh,
Yeah.
It doesn't go to you.
No.
No, it's going to be very
Ev-
booty flavored.
Everyone will
You like
have.
it.
Equal opportunity.
First
Yeah.
one roll is 69.
No comment.
Okay, so let's
Are we not gonna talk
let's
about it?
move on here. I mean,
It's gonna be a
We can
surprise.
give it away now if people want it given away.
No,
but
no, no.
Save it for it to actually
So-
drop.
Yeah. Okay. But we do have we've discussed a plan for it. It'll be fun. Okay. So Lurker, go ahead, Cal.
Do you have a video up?
I'm gonna go to Hydros.
Aw.
The loot pinata out of the way.
Look
All
at
I
that
see is
big
Hydros
camera.
the.
is in the middle.
I still see the TK video on your screen.
Oh, okay. Hold on, let me.
See if
Careful not to go to the
Vanos
porn.
why he did it.
Oh no.
There we go. See it?
Got it. Okay, so lurker below. We fish him up. It kind of shows roughly what's going to happen. There's these 3 platforms around the edge, kind of shown by the white writing, the green writing, and the purple writing. And then there's the inner ring, which is just the inner ring. Lurker will pop up, and he will be tanked facing from this view kind of to the upper left. Eventually he will submerge. When he submerges, each of these 3 platforms will have 2 ads come out. Those 2 ads basically CC1, kill 1, and then with the second one, it can either remain CC'd permanently because it'll get despawned later, or it can be killed. In the inner ring, there will be some ads that pop out, and those just need to be. Each of the tanks will pick one up and will kill one. Periodically through the fight, Lurker will do a Cthulhu style I-beam thing, and when
Spout?
he does that, yeah, and you just have to jump down in the water to avoid it.
And I think it starts. So the reason that we tank it this direction is it like starts in the direction that it's pointing, and then it goes around, right? It goes around clockwise. Is that correct?
Clockwise or counterclockwise.
Yep.
Yeah, one way or another. But this, if it's pointed this way, it gives people the most opportunity to get in the water before it happens.
And that's it. That's it. Go for it.
I remember the hunters brought a wind serpent for this fight because you would because they would die and you could just have them stand by you and cast lightning breath.
Yeah, well, if your pet's going in, it's gonna get hit by. It's gonna get hit by the spout.
The spout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest things here is we just need to make sure we'll have CC on each of the platforms, and yeah, other than that, like that's all the mechanics for this fight. Avoid the water breath by jumping in the water, and then make sure you've got ads under control. And that's it.
This is really. I mean, it's similar to Shade of Iran, where if you just like keep the ads CC'd and stuff long enough, they just go away. So that's why we have some that we're killing, but for the most part we're trapping them and fearing them, sheeping them, stuff like that, so that they.
It's not a time
basically
thing.
every time.
This one, it's when he spawns
Right.
new ads, the previous ones go away.
Right. Yeah. So every time that he would spawn more, you just the ones that were there before, they despawn, and then you just sheep or
Yeah.
whatever, fear the one that
Correct.
spawned after.
The spout, is it just the inner ring that has to jump in the water? Or is it everybody?
No,
Everybody's in the water.
Everybody.
Yep.
I was in the inner circle, so.
So you can see.
In
pretty
theory, you
simple
don't have
design.
to. Like, you don't have to get in the water if you're in the center, because you can avoid the spout entirely, but it's better to be in the water.
And I
Then you
think you can
don't have
still
be
to-
good.
DPS in the water.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
I think you can still target. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for
Alright,
melee.
there's
the
the
water
deep breath
spout.
cone
See how that
ability.
goes.
Yeah, so you got melee DPS just running around behind
Who's
them.
gonna fish him?
And that's the whole fight.
I got max fishing with stuff. But I don't know
Yeah,
what
we
you
get a
need to
bunch
fish
of
them up.
people max fishing. So that was the spout, and then we should see here soon ads starting to spawn.
There he goes down.
There they are.
The ads. Pretty generous amount of time to get CC on them. So they've CC'd both here. They're helping kill the inner ring, and then they'll probably kill one of the ads. And I don't know how we'll do it. It might change week to week depending on how.
When in doubt, fear or sheep or whatever the ads that are around you, and then we can break CC if we need to kill them. But
And some weeks if we have like less. What the hell's the word?
Hunter.
If we have CC that we're not like confident in, like priest fear or whatever, then maybe we kill more ads. If we have a lot of sheeps, then maybe we just keep them sheeped. That kind of thing.
So after every spout, there is a whirlwind that happens. And what our tank was doing was kind of going in towards Lurker, and then when you get the knockback, it would knock you back onto the platform instead of having like to charge.
Oh, like go right into his face.
Go right into his face, and he'll knock you back onto the platform instead of knocking you off, and you have to, jump back on. And the biggest thing too about the water is every time you jump, it's not like the lava where you can, mitigate the damage. You take 1,000 hit tick every time you jump up into the water.
Oh, that's right. The water's electrocuted, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you go
Doesn't
in, you stay in.
It's a steady tick.
Doesn't the water thing go away if you kill?
When you kill him,
I'll
yeah.
say Hydros.
No,
Or
when you
kill
kill
him.
Lurker.
No, it's when you kill Lurker.
Gotcha.
Like water walking is nice. You can. There's a couple things you can do. Like Lurker can technically be after Lurker. That can save a lot of time and a lot of trash. And the skip is much easier than what we would do in Nax.
Okay.
Bale, can you log back on real quick?
Sorry, me or Bale?
Bale.
Okay. Go to Leo Theras.
yeah, sorry, this is all on the same screen, so. What's up?
Show me Leo Theras. I can see Bale's doing something in game by his little cursor. So Leo Theras, to start the fight, there's 3 ads. You just need to kill the 3 ads. I don't think there's anything special about them.
No, nothing.
They probably do damage to people, but the biggest thing with Leo Theras, he changes form and stuff a lot. Every time he does that, he drops threat. So this fight is very much about managing your threat. So he'll go from like human form to demon form to human form to demon form.
What are you trying to say?
You're gonna die.
Just saying, man.
You're gonna die.
Try not to pop all your cooldowns the instant he changes his form, because you'll just pull threat and die.
He wipes threat every transition.
It's rough.
Just pray for Crash.
I'll be fine.
Occasionally
Pray for the
he
hunters.
will do a whirlwind, which is what he's doing now, and that's why the guy's running away. So when he's whirlwinding, just run away from him so you don't die to it. After the whirlwind, he drops threat, so watch for that. Eventually he will actually turn into a big demon, kind of like an Illidan style. So there's literally nothing going on. It's just tank and spank, and then he just drops threat every time he transitions. There's Whirlwind. I guess it's like a Sartura version too. I think
Yeah,
it's a
it puts
little.
a bleed on you
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
How far? These run super far away. Because it's
Yeah.
moving world. Gotcha.
So wait, this guy's blind.
Yes.
Supposedly, yeah.
Illidan blind though, not really blind.
Okay, I don't know how I feel about beating up a blind guy.
So there's the demon phase.
Okay, so there's the demon phase. At this point, this is where our warlock with fire resist takes over. He's just throwing fireballs at him. So just make sure that that warlock is searing painting and being top threat. He literally does nothing except throw fireballs. So just don't pull threat.
I don't know if our warlocks are accustomed to tanking something.
And there is a point in the demon phase. I don't know if is it right away or is it just periodically in the demon phase where you get your spawn?
Periodically.
It's
Periodically. Okay, so
periodically.
periodically he'll basically spawn a demon out of everybody. Everybody will have their own demon that pops out.
5 people.
And
it's just
oh,
5
it's only
people.
5.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
And you have to kill your demon. No one can help you with it. It's only
Yep.
yours that you can kill. And if you don't kill it before he turns back into a human, then you get mind controlled, and
We have to murder you.
then that's it. Yeah. So whoever those 5 people are in the demon phase who get their own demon pop right beside them, then you just gotta kill them, even if you're a
You
healer.
cannot ice block
Have
out
fun,
of
Holy
it or
Priest.
bubble out of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
We just pray to God it doesn't happen to all 5 healers.
that's
Yeah,
gonna
basically.
suck.
How much health does it
Uh,
have?
You can easily kill him.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Yeah, I think they have. Yeah, not very much.
I'm just trying to think of how much mana to blow through.
It's hardest for Resto Druids and
Yeah.
Prot Warriors, so have fun.
You don't have any mana if you
Holy
mind controls you,
paladins,
so
man! I got
No, I
like
know, I'm
nothing to
just
kill
trying
that's
that
to
where
thing.
it's blown everything.
It's a demon though, right? So
Yeah, you should be able to exercise it and stuff.
yeah.
And again, when he comes out of demon phase and he's back into human form, drops threat, goes back into demon phase, drops threat.
He drops threat when he goes into the
Final
whirlwind.
phase.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we get to see an inner demons. Here, yeah, there they are.
Yeah, there you go. There's the inner demons. So each of them just has to kill it. Other than that, it just goes back and forth until he's dead. There's no enrage, or there's probably an enrage, but there's no like.
This
10-minute
Resto Druid
enrage.
is killing his demon. So yeah, he did. He did it. Good job, Tree.
Good job.
Did it melee it?
no.
Bruh.
Beat it.
Yeah, he wrapped it to death.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and I think that's just it until he dies. I don't think there's anything else special. You just keep going
No,
back
there's
and forth
nothing
until he's dead.
No, you killed them both. Well, not.
I mean,
the
the hardest
same
stuff
time, but together.
is the trash beef really for the bosses. Everything in here is super hard.
Ooh.
This. Cool.
Fathom Lord. This is a dude who has 4 ads with him. Sorry, 3 ads. There's a shaman, a hunter, and a siren, and we will kill them in that order. The biggest thing for the entire fight is the shaman will drop a Spitfire totem that has to be killed immediately, similar to the Nax trash totems. Once one of the ads dies, it transfers like the main ability to the boss. So after, for example, the shaman dies, then Fathom Lord can drop the totems. So through the entire fight, you have to make sure that the Spitfire totems are dying. The hunter does Beast Within, I think, which just increases damage. And I don't remember what the siren does, but I don't think it's significant.
They just
Heals.
made a boss out of the trash from AQ. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I
the
like
big
that.
thing at the
Let's make that a
beginning,
boss.
we kill the shaman, we kill the hunter, kind of in this area. You'll notice the siren is tanked like way off in the corner, because the siren's throwing these little tornado things around. So it's just easier to avoid them when she's coming from far away.
Also does a tomb too, like a frozen tomb.
Yep, and eventually there's a tomb that comes Where do they show them? I think he gets hit by one.
You cannot banish the pet that the hunter spawns.
And yeah, periodically he does. I think he puts 2 people in bubbles, and you just have to heal them. And he also throws out random bolts.
What kind of pet does it?
It's an elemental. There's 2 of them, so there you can. I think you can see it right now. And then the other one's like a spore bat, but you can't banish it or do anything to it. You can kill it.
Lust.
Yeah, you can't like sleep the bat.
No.
So it said there.
What does he say? Casters on Siren.
Yeah, it's just because the Siren throws out those little tornadoes, so it just.
Oh, so you don't want it bouncing up the melee.
We tanked him all the way in the corner. The Siren left him, so after we killed the hunter and shaman, we just nuked Fathom and then went to the healer.
Oh, alright, well that would work too, I guess.
It's just another strat. That's it.
Yeah, I see when he's DPSing here, you'll see the little tornadoes come out. There's one.
I think I kind of like that better, anyways, because then you're not giving the boss that ability, right?
Yeah.
You're like sort of keeping that ability distance away from the rest of the raid.
So what we did is like we had, put the healers in the middle, right? So they can heal that tank plus the other tanks that are tanking. So you're not like designating, okay, 2 healers to the Siren's tank.
And if you look at the raid frames there, the raid is taking a reasonable amount of damage throughout, with the random like Shadow Bolt shit and stuff getting thrown around.
And you can outrange that.
So yeah, they've killed all the ads, so now the boss has all the main abilities and just tank and spank from here.
So I don't know if you just saw that a little farther back till they kill the Siren. Everybody, all immediately got tombed. Right
Yeah, there's the ice block.
So that's why.
Yeah, sorry, that's the stun. Yeah. Tidewalker.
This one's a bitch.
Phase.
Any questions on this stuff so far?
It's pretty straightforward.
Yes, yeah. What can we do for you?
Cat.
Yes.
Again, I'll go do my Bale's Spark Notes version once we get to the end of these fight discussions. But yeah.
So Tidewalker, phase 1 as shown here is just a simple tank and spank. Eventually in phase 2, he will summon some Murloc ads. The Murloc ads come from like the 2 hallways. They talk about in this video, they have 2 pally tanks, 1 for each hallway. So they pick up those Murloc ads and then pull it all together in the middle and AoE it down.
Yay, seed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The thing that signals that, oh yeah, so there's the violent earthquake has been summoned, so that does damage to everybody, and that signals that the Murlocs are coming.
So another thing is like when that earthquake goes off. Pause it. When that earthquake goes off, we kind of healers have to get people topped off, because it could be that these Murlocs come in and start smacking on some random people if people aren't crippled for threat, and if we don't overheal we don't fully heal up after that earthquake, people are gonna start dying.
So this would be a fight where it'd be real nice to have 2 pally tanks, but if not, we'll make do with what we have. And then also periodically through the fight, he'll, as it shows there, put Watery Grave on people. There you go. It teleports you over to this spot, and then after however many seconds, it'll bonk you up in the air and do a bunch of damage to you. So you can heal them. Obviously, you have to top them up while they're in the Watery Grave before they get bonked up, or they'll die.
Is the damage that you get just from fall damage?
No, when it
explodes,
it hits you, and then you also take some fall damage. So he's in the tomb. So you look at his health. I think it does about half your health when it explodes. So there's half his health gone.
Yeah, I see. Yep.
And then the fall damage as well. So as long as everybody's topped up before the watery tombs, or while they're in watery tombs and you heal them up, then no big deal. So that basically continues. Those are all the abilities until 25%. And at 25%, the watery graves stop, and he will spawn water globes kind of around the room. They'll just kind of meander around the room, and if they hit you, they blow up for 4,000 or 5,000 damage.
They come from the watery
It's-
grave spot.
Yeah, they come
Oh,
from
they come
the grave spot.
Yeah.
And they're also they're AoE, right? They're not just single target. If
Yep.
if it touches you, it blows up you and people around you for thousands of damage.
So we tanked him in the corner, like where he's. Oh, like where he was turning. So if you're looking at that down that tunnel, to the right corner, we tanked him in that corner over there. So by the time the water tombs got to us, he pretty much would be dead. So yeah, if you're facing that to the right, there's a cubby basically. So move the mouse down a little bit where the threat meter is or DPS meter. So there's a cubby down there that gives him a little bit more distance for us to kill him before those water tombs get to us.
Oh, you just burn before they even become an issue?
Mhm. And they're really slow. So there's like where they are right now, there's that short distance from the watery tombs to where those things can get to you. But if you do it to the other corner, on the other side there, 25% is pretty much a kill. Yeah, before they get to you. You might get a few if you have range that are really far back, but other than that, it's pretty easy.
Okay.
And we also tanked them
So the
there
only thing
to give the pally tanks more time to get threat. So hunters would have to be on top of traps, and the only ones that were really dying when the Murlocs came out were Holy Priest. Because they had healing aggro.
So yeah, healing aggro when they're running in, and that should be only on the ones coming from this side over here, right?
Both. They come from both sides. They come from that tunnel
Well,
there.
I understand, but if we have a pally tank that's just like throwing out AoE over here, then
they were still running past the consecrate and everything else, and they would get a hit off and then go right back to the pally.
Got it.
So that's why it's like important to stack up in that one little area and give the traps and the pallies enough time to get aggro on them all.
So really important to have like slow traps and things for those waves as well.
And you also don't want to just sit there and tank them. Like you're dropping traps, you're not frost noving, you're just blizzarding and seeding and getting them down, and then kiting them around the trap because they will destroy the tank.
They hit hard enough that you can't tank them all.
So we need a mage with Imprison.
Yeah, we had the mages that were in the group from the raid were all frost. But they weren't expecting to improve Blizzard, so they wouldn't Nova the.
No, that's Frostbite.
That's a different one, yeah.
Or Frostbite, yeah.
They're in because in Blizzard lets them slow.
Just slow, no stun, or no,
no Novas, because then it will just turn around and just start whacking people and killing them.
So you want in Blizzard, but no Frostbite.
Yeah, we wiped about 7 times in this guy just because of the Murlocs. That was the only difficult thing about it.
Cool. Interesting. That's not what I would have thought. Cool. Good to know.
Yep.
Okay. So then Murlocs come out. I mean, the Murlocs don't really change. It's just the globes change from throwing you in the tomb to roaming around and trying to blow up people.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that like Pally was running around at the end there.
Because you can have somebody.
Yeah, so they're just using consecrate to get threat, and then they're kiting them around in the cocaine traps and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Hydros. So the basic gimmick for Hydros is he has 2 forms. One is frost and one is poison, or I guess nature. Phase 1, as you see here, he is in frost. There are some ads that will be spawned whenever we change him. Those will be picked up by tanks. So the big thing is that, for example, when he's in frost, he puts a stacking debuff, and it showed how much it was on the screen there. So it'll increase your damage taken by frost by 10, 25, 50, 100. So basically by about 4 stacks is all you can take, and then you got to switch him into poison, and then take 4 stacks in the poison side, then switch him back to frost. The way that you do that is you pull him around the center point of the room. There's kind of invisible
Yeah,
line
there's like
drawn.
a line that goes down the middle here.
Yeah. So you'll see whenever they want to, they pull him over that line, and he switches him to the other form.
Right there.
He switches. 4 ads pop out, and so those need to be off tanked. And once those are dead, then you just hold him there until he gets 4 stacks, and then you take him back to Frost. And then 4 ads spawn, you kill those, keep killing him, bring him back. So you just ping pong him back and forth as needed. So he'll put, whether he's in Frost or Nature, he'll put a single target debuff on random raid members. When he's Frost, the debuff will stun you. When he's Nature, then the debuff will do some poison damage to you. It's just the
I
stacking.
see that the guy had the debuff here. But he's got the debuff here, but it's, I mean, like, he's clearly not taking a ton of damage.
There wasn't a lot of raid damage, no.
So this one will have 1 tank with a full NR set. We'll have 1 tank with a full frost resist set. And then we'll probably have a couple of tanks with a mix of NR, FR, or like another off tank who's got full frost and another one with full nature or something.
So the ads are banishable. And depending on how DPS was, like Perp Guild did the same thing that we did last week, where we blew Bloodlust at the start, got on to like 50% before we didn't get to that transition. And then once he transitioned to nature, we would just banish the elementals and just burn him.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
that's high DPS then.
Yeah, so like
these guys do like a bunch of transitions back and forth.
Yeah, so I mean, if you watch Perp stream or even like his YouTube video, he'll show you that kind of strat, and we did the exact same kind of thing.
That'll probably just be a we'll probably plan on just going back and forth and killing ads, and then we'll just make a call if we're gonna stick in one side.
Yeah, the DPS was pretty gnarly.
And it probably wouldn't even hurt at the beginning. Like you could banish 1 ad, for example, kill everything else, and then when it pops up, just cleave it down with the boss. I don't know if the off tanks took much damage.
They still took some. They're in the nature resist gear or frost resist gear.
Yeah.
It is interesting. I don't know if there is any sort of range mechanic here. He does have a range meter on, but I don't see anything. That would
So
be
8 yards apart,
based.
and you won't get. There is a little tomb that when he's in frost, he'll put on you like a water bubble.
Fair enough.
I imagine if there's a mechanic that happens.
It doesn't happen that often, no. But if you're spaced out enough, only 1 person will get it instead of majority of people.
And I imagine that there's a similar spell that he does on the poison side. Something if you're in range.
Honestly, you killed it faster than I did.
I don't think
It didn't matter.
I don't think the poison one bounces to multiple people, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
It's just a poison dot that it puts on you. And that's Hydros. There's no special mechanic when he gets low or anything. It's just back and forth till he's dead.
The trash beforehand is pretty easy, but then difficult. Like the screamer, there's packs of 5 or 6. The screamers need to die first, and everybody needs to be like range, and healers need to stay back until the screamers are dead. Then once the screamers are dead, because they do an AoE silence, everybody moves in and then kills the rest. The lurkers, like the big old guys that like in steam vaults, can do quite a few things when they're dead. Either drop a poison cloud, spawn ads, bad mushrooms, and then good mushrooms was what they can do, or a spout, basically what like lurker does. And if you have aggro from the lurker, basically you need to make sure you run through him and you're facing away from the raid, because it's kind of like she was the last boss in steam slave hens.
Oh, an underbog? Or
yeah, underbog. Or no, slave hens, yeah. It's the exact same kind of thing where he does this poison stuff, but if you're facing away from him or behind him, you don't get the damage.
Yep. So let's see. SparkNotes version Lurker. CC if you have CC. CC the ads that are on your area if you can. Kill the ones that are being tanked. Make sure that it's being tanked in this direction, and then go into the water so you don't get hit by Cthulhu I-Beam 2.0. Kill boss. Don't jump in and out of the water. You'll keep taking a boatload of damage. CC ads until the next wave. Anything to add?
Like how you're gonna take a boatload of damage if you jump in the water.
Yeah.
You do get in the water at least once to get away from the spout, though.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. You have to get in the water at least once to avoid the spout. But I mean, like, don't just do it for fun, right?
But I want to go swimming.
I'm a fish. Yep. Right. Next boss. Kill the ads initially. It's a threat fight, so make sure that you are aware of your threat. He drops threat about a bajillion times every time he swaps between humanoid and demon form. He will also drop threat whenever he goes into Battleguard Sartura mode, so make sure that you dodge the whirlwind. Kill your demon. Your demon is your problem. And that's pretty much it. Don't pull threat.
Warlock tank as well.
Oh yeah. When he goes into the demon form, he casts fireballs. Have a warlock tank that has fire resist that's tanking it for that time. Any questions on that? Julio. Fathom Lord. Kill the ads one by one. Shaman, then Hunter. We'll figure out if we're going to kill Siren before Fathom Lord or not, but Siren will be tanked on the other side. Make sure that you kill the Shaman's totems. And Hunter pet can't be interacted with, so you have to kill the Hunter and or its pet quickly. Boss gets its abilities, just like the trash from AQ. So it sort of ramps up in power as time goes on. Dodge the things just like the crone fight, right? Dodge those things as they're coming out, and kill ads, kill boss. Spitfire totem, bad. Any questions?
Spitfire totem bad.
Spitfire totem bad, and
It
you
said
have
in
to
it,
keep doing it
so
over and over and over again.
yeah, it said in there like macro it to something like an instant cast spell, for example, as a range DPS.
Yeah. Yep. Tide Walker. So mostly tank and spank, and ads spawn from the two sides. Tanks pick up ads. Hopefully pally tanks pick up ads. Kite them around while they're slowed. AoE them down. Sometimes you get thrown into a bubble. Make sure that people are healed up, so that if they get thrown into the bubble, they don't die. Bubble takes damage, gets thrown in the air, comes back to group. At the end, the bubbles decide to attack you, so they slowly start lumbering their way towards you and turn into bombs. Don't get hit by a bomb.
I think in this one it shows at the end there they have like a couple dedicated people over, like soaking them on purpose and like blowing them up out of the raid and then healing themselves up, kind of thing.
But I could see. Yep.
Shoot, just bubble and walk through them.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it looked like there was somebody on the ramp doing something with the bubbles that were coming. I couldn't really tell.
Yeah, it's hard to tell when it's, 2 times speed or whatever this is.
And yeah, the earthquake is what he does to summon the Murlocs, and they'll hit everybody for a bunch of damage.
Yeah, earthquake tells you that it's coming. Yep. So that's a big alert to healers, especially if what Tardo is saying is true, that the Murlocs are going to be the biggest problem. Healers need to make sure that people are full healed up before Murlocs get to the party. Hydros, He's basically Two-Face. Tank and Spike here for a couple of stacks. Move him to the other side. Spawns ads. Kill boss. Move him to the other side. Switches. Ads. Boss. Pretty much it. Range 8 or something. Yep.
That's about it.
All right, cool. So the last bosses of each dungeon have a lot of pieces and parts that we will go over in another time. I will hopefully this is recording properly and I can post it so that people can come back and revisit it if they want to. It'll actually be a reasonable resource if we get new people or people that couldn't make it tonight. But this is our intended route. Is we're gonna start in Tempest Keep, kill the first, all but the last boss, and then go into SSC, kill to the last boss. That's the intended route. So when we're doing loot sheets, if you want to take that into consideration, then that's something that you can do when we get into loot sheets. Again, we'll have a dedicated night to talking about how to configure loot sheets once that stuff is all done.
I guess one last question I have. I actually want to first apologize to Crush. I think it sounds like the raid as a whole only needs 2 pieces of arcane resistance and then nothing else. If going through it.
That's what we're planning for right now. So if we need, we basically, the thing is we don't want to tell people to bring 3 or 4 pieces of arcane resistance, get there and have it not be necessary. It's just a waste of everybody's time and money. So so we'll have the 2 things that are easy for us to get are the cape and the trinket that we get from the quest, right? So you get your cape, get the carrot trinket that has arcane resist. Bring those, and then we'll see how we do with those before we say that we need more stuff.
Where does the cape come from?
It's
crafted
crafted.
cape.
I can make it, so can Bale.
It's the cloak of arcane
mats.
innovation or something. I think
Arcane
it's
evasion. It's 4 imbued netherweave. It's 3 primal life, 3 primal mana, and 2 of the spider slime.
Oh, it's easy.
Yep.
More primal.
There's also an arcane enchant that you can get that is onto the cape. That is 8 primal manas and 4 large prismatic shards.
Fuck that.
So
Resist all, baby. It's good enough.
Yeah, that'll work.
Katavi can do the enchant as well. So if you want to get that, then it's great. But yeah, the expectation is that people will show up with the cape and with their trinket. Okay.
And it's also the
Any other
expectation
questions about
for
this?
tanks should all have a full set of NR, full set of Frost, and then
Crush
all
can
Warlocks
make-
should have Fire.
Crush can make the NR and the Frost. If people need it, just let me know to get the Nethers, and I'll get them soon. I just would like, if you do need them, let me know soon so I can start working on it.
I'll say same thing with me and Ingshka. I can craft them both.
Perfect.
I do have some others
perfect.
spare, so.
I have 1 spare, so you can bug him. Bug me for the 1.
I have the nature neck. I can make that on my warlock. The scryer neck.
I know that bag space is going to be tight, especially for you tanks. But if you can also bring, a couple of your DPS items, because there's going to be times where you're going to be DPSing and times where you're going to be tanking. Obviously, there's a variety, big variety of fights here. So try to bring that stuff as well.
I am possibly going back to the PTR with another guild tomorrow. Is there anything you want me to try or ask?
If you could try to kill some bosses, please.
Well, that's not an issue, but we're gonna probably try new strats.
I would the arcane boss. I would definitely see.
Yeah.
If it feels like arcane is needed.
Yeah.
Like
That's what I was
I
gonna
keep
say.
hearing that's not. Keep hearing that.
The 2 times I've killed them, we have not done arcane.
I mean, you got kind of look at it and like our kill times versus their average kill times. If we're gonna be slower, it might be needed. If you...
Yep.
Yeah, the thing I was thinking.
because like Herb
was
had
probably
said to
gonna
us,
say.
he was like, "Oh, you don't need arcane resist," and I was like, "Well, maybe you don't need arcane resist, but we need arcane resist."
Yeah, I mean,
because
the guys I'm
there were
running
people
with
that
are.
killed Saf week 1, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
don't.
I mean, the
don't
guys
do
I'm
that
running
cross
with, the
resist.
lowest DPS is like 1.4.
Exactly.
Right.
Ah.
So
Therefore,
I think just keeping like planning to have those two pieces, I think will mitigate what, a third of the damage or 25% of it. Like
Pretty
it
much,
should
yeah.
make a difference. So
Raid comp will mean a lot. And I also think DPS, our DPS is going to go up in the next raids anyways, because it's
Mhm.
not just one boss target on a lot of these fights. There's ads and stuff, so our
True.
DPS will be
yeah,
higher.
Warlock DPS might go up a bit. Yeah.
No, your warriors, your hunters. Overall, I think our DPS will go up.
Yeah, anybody with AOE should go up. Yeah, or any multi-target class should be able to go up.
But like the biggest thing with SSC, like when I said TK again, is trash. There's a lot of stuff in here that can do a lot of damage pretty fast. Like tie walkers going towards Leo and Fathom Lord need to die like super fast. And there's a lot of CC that needs to go on and banishes that need to happen.
I know.
Actually, that'd be one thing you could probably do on that is just make like a cheat sheet for yourself of like pertinent stuff for each like trash pack, just so when we're starting to go through, just be like, oh yeah, do this, we'll pull that one next, whatever. Just like a.
I know that we're not super sweaty. But what I heard and what I remember is the trash does tend to drop lots of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that in the PTR at all?
Like drop loot.
Yeah.
Yeah, trash
Oh
loot.
yeah,
Does it pretty
like
often?
we saw. Let me try to find it. I'll link it.
I was wondering
we
if
saw
it'd be
6
beneficial.
of the same neck drop.
Yeah, I was wondering if it'd be beneficial if we had people who wanted to go in there and farm trash. Like
We saw 6 of those. 3 of those.
Oh,
and 1 on Great Staff.
So I forget. Do we get the upgraded nethers off trash or is it off bosses?
Yes.
So
They
yeah, that's
can
going to be
drop off
huge
trash,
for
but it's
yeah, we
higher
got
chance
about
off
20
boss.
of those. Actually, we got pretty lucky.
We have a lot of people that
guaranteed
need
the
them.
last
So
boss. From what
Yes, guaranteed drop off Kael'thas and Vash, and then small chance off of trash, and then a slightly higher chance off each boss.
I would take the PTR trash drops with a grain of salt in terms of percentages.
Yeah, I mean they were dropping pretty. Like I said, that neck we saw 6 times in one run.
They're baiting you.
Well, they want people. I don't know. They want the.
Well, it's
Well,
testing stuff too.
I
Yeah,
remember.
exactly.
I remember
We
trash.
did
dropping
not
a lot,
see any of the patterns drop.
Rip.
But they also want people to test like the crafting and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So like those, like they need to up the drop rate for people to get enough to test the crafting, the new things. So.
But yeah, like the platform ads, we were just seeding them and AoEing them down. After we killed Hydros, those were pretty easy. There was nothing really any mechanics with it. You stack up seed. There's 2 healers that need to die first, of course, and they do pop angels. So don't be surprised, like, oh shoot, what priest died? It was just ads that died.
Yeah, my general approach for stuff like this is just like go for the more aggressive strategies first. This is just me, obviously. And then if you find that it's not working, then tune it back from there. But I feel like that scenario is better than like going with a strategy that's like a little more conservative and then finding out like way later on, like, oh, we didn't even need to be doing that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and like I said with Hydros, like if you think of our DPS, we blew Bloodlust at the start, and then we got him down to like 50% before we were doing a transition, and then ads popped out. 4 warlocks banished an ad, and burned him the rest, and then the tank did pop shield wall in last stand, like at the last like 12-15% because he was hitting pretty hard.
Just because he had a whole bunch of debuffs on him.
Yeah.
Well, also it's like, why not? That's just good cooldown usage, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you certainly don't want the tank to die and boss to bounce to the other side. And then
Yeah, and that was the
have
thing
more
too.
ads.
Yeah, like the tank did die because the D-bus was just couldn't control it. But if everybody stays on the other side of the flags and he can just bounce between left and right, it was kill anyways.
Well, the nice thing about that one is we'll be able to pull it Bloodlust once threat's established, and then we'll be able to tell right away, like, oh, we're at 60% and we're at 4 stacks, we're not going to make it or something, and then we just go from there.
Yeah, I think that there's, I mean, I think that most of these fights lead to, you know, if we just prepare ahead of time and we go in intelligently and not just like doing stupid shit on the pull, then we'll be pretty successful on all of these bosses that we talked about tonight. So
Where are you posting this?
I'll post this video on YouTube somewhere. I think I have a channel that I made for shit like this, so I'll post it there.
And there's a couple updated YouTube videos of SSC and TK that does go over a little bit of the trash also.
I'll listen in then and see if I missed anything. I gotta go to bed. You guys have a good night.
Good night.
See ya.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording here.
And I suggest too that, like, ideally before we go over Vash and Kael'thas as a group, it'd be just take like the 10 minutes for each of the fights and watch a video about them. There's a lot to sort of take in, but then you watch it a second time, it's like, oh, it's not too bad. But